Hello and welcome back to the Reapers with me, Tanky. So I've been asked on numerous occasions on what's the actual process I go through to actually carry out my 3D prints. And so the first thing is, I've just not got the time to do a lot of 3D modeling or designing stuff within Tinkercad or other CAD software. So I generally will go out and try to find whatever I'm looking for. And so, for example, I did a supersonic chibi Concorde, and so I went onto Colts, had a look for it, and here it was. It didn't cost me anything. Needed to create an account, but you just click on download. It will then download a zip file, and that will then get presented over to you. So once you've got that download in place, you just go over into your downloads folder, unzip it, and then it'll be presented here in STL format. We'll just select the pair of them and drag and drop them into your slicing software. Now, I personally use G2Box, but there are other slicing softwares out there, and you can use whatever you like. Now, as you can see, this particular model comes in two pieces. You've got the front end and the back end. Now, one of the nice things that you can do is you can orientate the model round how you'd like. I like to just pop it flat on the actual build plate for the moment. Rotate it round just to make it easier to work with, like so, and we'll do the same with the front part. Now, if you didn't have the space to build a larger model, then by all means print it out in two pieces, and then this has got a joining part in for the middle just here, and you'd be able to see that go through. But the nice thing with G2Box Pro is that you can actually merge the two models together, which will make your life a lot easier. It's actually called a Boolean process. Don't worry about the warnings. That's perfectly fine. All you need to do is concentrate on getting them lined up with as little a gap as possible and as straight in as possible. As you can see, this one's a little bit cockeyed, so that's not looking too bad, but obviously not quite right. So all we need to do is just in the y-axis move it over, and we might even need to just type it in there to get it down. So let's not quite. Or so nearly there. Let's drop that down to -598. Not quite. 96. Okay, let's have a look in there. Needs to come down vertically, but for the y-axis that's not too bad at all. Z-axis. Okay, so that's looking about right. Maybe just up a little bit more. Let's try that on a 0.2. There we go. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. So all you would do is with both models selected, you'd go into the Boolean operation, select the two parts of the model to join, and then it'd be an A-B join, and as long as you're fully lined up and everything, that'll go through. So we'll apply that. So they're now all one model, like so. This is gone transparent to warn me of the fact that there is a gap in there. We know that anyway. Now we just orientate it to allow us to print it out. Now G2Box will do this automatically for you. This part here will print out as well. Unfortunately, because these are the front part, it's all together. There's not a lot you can do about that, and you can't manipulate that independently of the front nose. G2Box will also do all the supports for you. It's quite good at that, and it has got better over time. Beforehand it used to be a bit hit and miss, but nowadays it's quite good, and I tend to use it. And as you can see here, it will add not just lights but mediums and heavies as well, so just auto support that up, and as you see, that's all supported there. And this turns out as a really nice little model. Now, if I'd spent more time over in it, you'd make sure that you didn't have that lip round there. You could pull the front end back or out again. Yeah, but for demonstration purposes, this is quite adequate because it shows you the gist of the process. So once you've done your supports and you've got all your printer settings already set down in here, we go back into prepare. Here you can just check your settings. So you can see Saturn 4 Ultra, resin. That's all determined, as you do your tests and everything. So we'll go from here. We'll carry out a single parameter slice, and because I have my machine on the network, I don't even have to leave here to go off and print it. We can do an island detection, and we can delete all the islands, or you could support them, depends on how critical it is to the model. And then from there, network send it. It's just got to pick up the printers. There we go, and we could send it over to the Saturn 4 Ultra just by clicking on send, and that'll send it over to the network. And from there you can go into G2Box Manager, and you'd be able to see, well, let's just load that up again. You'd be able to see what we've got here. So you'd go into your device files, into the internal storage, and then that's the file that we've just sent over. You'd hit print, and you can see I've got it on times and lapse because it's nice to get those. If you've got the ability to do that, do it by all means. And then that'll go off and print it. And I'll pull up a demo of the time lapse of this print. Now, once the print is completed, it's always good to let it just sit for a bit to let any excess resin that drain off, and so you're not going to waste a great deal. Remove it from the build plate, and then once it's been removed, I like to put it through a wash. I use isopropyl alcohol because once it gets a bit too dirty, I distill it down and clean it, and then that means I can reuse it. So it's actually working out to be quite cheap and cost effective for me. But I'll stick it in the Mercury 3 wash station, and off the build plate itself. So I'm just throwing the model into the basket, and I'll set this print's going to clean for probably, depending on the size of it, between 5 and 10 minutes, and depending on how dirty it is. Once it's all been cleaned, I'll take it out. I'll let the alcohol evaporate naturally, so it'll get rid of anything that could be hiding on the print itself. And then I'll heat the print itself up with a heat gun just to make it a little bit easier for taking off the supports and reduce the pot marking that you can get from there. And then if it needs any additional curing, I'll generally pop it into the Mercury 3, but this time whilst it's on the curing setting, not the wash setting, and do it for about 30 seconds as it will shine UV light all the way around the model, and then that's it done. And then you're free to, if you wanted to just display it or then go off and paint it as you need to. So that's the entire process that I go through, and I hope this has been of help to some people. Okay, so I've been Tanky from the Grim Reapers, and thank you very much. Bye.